The military has been honest to say we are under pressure. You didn't read it. To dismantle this rickety political system. But somebody told them, go and deny it. And they denied. Oh, we are not under pressure. But we can read between the lines. And that is why
the Nigerian military are having a covert meeting, a secret meeting. And this meeting, the purpose of it is to continue the wave, the uprising in West Africa, and probably spread to Central Africa. I'm talking about military takeover. It is beginning again, and Nigeria is the next target. Cameroon also is on the radar. This is not a joke. This is for real. This is for real. This is for real. Do not take this for granted. Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now is on his toes. He's trying to meet up with certain people to solidify his seat, to make sure that none of this happens. And for those who are skeptical or those who do not believe this, you are about to hear from Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You will be hearing what you have never heard before. This is explosive. This is for real. Like I said in the previous analysis and videos, I said Nigeria is the next. And also Cameroon and Ghana. The president of Ghana is on his toes. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is on his toes, like I said. He's meeting with certain people to make sure that nothing like this happens. He has stretched his hands to some Western countries. And one of the countries that he stretched his hands to is Canada. He knows that the United States of America and the rest of Europe, particularly terrible parasitic colonial countries, such as, colonial governments, such as France. He knows that at any time they can turn against anyone, turn against any country. All they're interested in is the destabilization of Africa, and also they do not want Africa to get it right. Once Africa gets it right, let me give you an example before we listen to Femi Falana. If a gram of uranium is sold for $200 or 200 euros, and 11 euros is being returned back to the country, do you think France will want peace and harmony, settlement in that country? No, they want chaos so that they can come in. There are two ways to it. Is either you continue giving to them what they want, parasitic relationship, or once they realize that you're not ready to do what they want, they look for some stories or claim that you have terrorists in your country that they must come in to remove. And that's how they operate. All they want to do is to make sure that they're in control of your country and your resources. But now with the military coup all over, spreading like wildfire, they know that this will be fire for fire. You come in, you try to invade, we will fire. But like I've always said, military government does not necessarily mean a progressive government. Civilian government can be extremely, fantastically corrupt, the same way military government also can be. Without further ado, let us watch what Femi Falana has to say. This is deep. This is deep. The Nigerian army, the Nigerian military are already in that point of mutiny. They are preparing themselves, and they will not do this with the government of today, the government of Buhari, knowing or having any hint of it. But of course, there are ears to the ground, and these ears to the ground, such as Femi Falana's ears, is saying in a twinkling of an eye, without you knowing that this is about to happen or this will happen, it will just come upon you. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be held, house arrest. If he's not careful, you know how it works. Like and share this video. Tap on the subscription button. Turn on the notification bell if you're just coming across this channel. Tap on the thanks button to encourage us to do more. Let's get right into it.
But the poor are asked to tighten their belt even when they are dying. Now, the second point, We may be gathered here discussing democracy. Democracy is under threat in Africa. Very serious. I'm sure you know what happened yesterday. You know what happened last month. And it's going to continue. Oh yes, there's no apology about it. I can predict with mathematical exactitude the next country, very close to us, that will experience a coup very soon. Where a man currently suffering from dementia, who has been in power since 1982, what did he do yesterday because of what happened in Ghana? Let me change the commander of the army. You are deceiving yourself. There was a coup, attempted coup in 2019 in Gabon. The guy survived, but you know what has happened? Yesterday, he also suffers from stroke and dementia. He didn't know where he was. He said, I don't know where I am. But please help me. That is what they have reduced Africa to. You needed to have seen that guy when there was very insulting this their meeting, going to Europe to meet about Africa. Franco-Afro summit. The guy couldn't walk. And none of his colleagues in the Club of African Dictators, African Union, none of them will say, gentlemen, why don't you resign and let a functional person take over the affairs of your country? This guy had stroke since 2009. With the wealth of that country, he couldn't establish a hospital. He was in Britain for years and then went to Morocco. Just like Mobutu Sese Seko, 35 years in power, no hospital. Eyadema was being flown to Israel after 32 years in office. He couldn't fix a hospital like this. This gang of looters here. And that is what they have made of Africa. So please, I think Sheon was talking about some comparison. Sheon, up to 3 years ago, all the member states of ECOWAS were under one form of civil rule or another. Don't call them democratically elected government. Civil rule. 3 years ago. But what has happened? We have recorded 4. The number is ongoing. Chad. Now Gabon. They are all close to us. But what's the link between Nigeria and Chad and Gabon? How many Nigerians are there? If you must know. Many Nigerians are trading in Gabon. We have a lot of relationship. That country is one of the richest in Africa. It's the 5th largest producer of oil. The population is 2.3 million. Everybody should be living like a king. But the poverty rate is 33%. In that country, small country, the Mabongos, the Bongos, took over the country with their friends, buying riches, houses all over the world, including France particularly. Nigeria has a GDP of 4,900 now as of 2020. While Gabon, the per capita is $14,000. But while poverty rate, while 40.1% of Nigeria live below poverty level, in Gabon is 33%. That's why you had the coup. And like I said, Senegal is the only country that has not experienced a coup in West Africa. But if care is not taken, that country will go under soon because you are the man. Macky Sall, who said he wanted a 3rd term. And people said, no. We chased out President Abdullah Wade, and you took advantage. Now you want a 3rd term. The people of Senegal have defeated him on the street. You know what he's doing now? He wants to plant his own agent. So the main opposition leader, he got him on a Trump charge of rape. He's in jail. So that country is in trouble. None of these guys, including those who are planning to invade Niger, none of them will say preventive diplomacy. Can we talk to these our colleagues to allow democracy in this country? One of them came here 2 weeks ago, and I was just laughing, from Central African Republic, to pledge the loyalty of ECOWAS. The Central African Republic, to say we are with you in invading Niger. We want democracy. In his country, the guy had just removed judges who told him it is illegal to have a 3rd term. Central African Republic. the country of Bokassa. Now, he removed the judges who gave that ruling and manipulated his way for a third time. The guy in Cote d'Ivoire saying, Nigeria, please let us invade. Alassane Ouattara. You know how he emerged? That the whole of Africa, the entire people of that country, over 3,000 people were killed for him to emerge. Now he's currently having his own third term. And none of these guys condemn him. Twice now, ECOWAS has attempted to fix a term, 2 terms for presidents. In 2015, it was defeated by Togo and the Gambia. In 2022, last year, it was defeated by Togo, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire. Now, the guy in Togo also expects something soon. In Togo, he and his father have been in power since 1963. Just like this guy who has just been removed, he and his father have been in power for 56 years. Even if you are a traditional ruler, there are people who are waiting for you now. For you, one ruling house, we call them ruling houses. One ruling house can never be allowed to spend 56 years in the African traditional, political system. So why are these guys pretending that we are running a democracy? And for here, please, Honorable Senator, please be careful. Distinguished Senator, be careful. Don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Please. Because some of the things going on there, we're in trouble. Sir, 70 billion naira for palliatives for 469 people. And when we say no, they say no. It's for facelift of the National Assembly. No, sir. 3 years ago, 37 billion naira was the amount for facelift of the National Assembly. That contract has not been fully executed. There is no review of the contract. So you can't talk of 70 billion naira for facelift. Secondly, 40 billion naira to buy exotic cars now for leadership of the National Assembly. It's not going to be allowed. The latest provocative news from the National Assembly is that 54 billion naira has been earmarked for constituency projects for 360 members of the House of Reps. It has come to 150 million per person. Under these austere conditions in town. So when these figures are oozing out of the National Assembly, Nigerians are being provoked. And enemies of democracy are being provoked. The military has been honest to say we are under pressure. You didn't read it. To dismantle this rickety political system. But somebody told them, go and deny it. And they denied. Oh, we are not under pressure. But we can read between the lines. And that is why we can't gather here talking of democracy that is under threat. That's number 2. Number 3, comrade lecturer, I agree with you. There are solutions to all these problems. So the immediate causes of coups in Africa today: third-hand syndrome, manipulation of constitution, military bases. You know, today, America has 29 military bases in Africa. France has 15. Soldiers are protesting because these members of these foreign bases are receiving salaries as if they are in their country. And they are living above the ordinary soldiers in Africa. So the soldiers are also protesting the differential treatment between them and these foreign troops. So we must look at that, and of course,
how loud, how clear can this be? This is the truth. This is the reality. Like I said at the beginning, it will not be wise for the military to come out to say, yes, we are ready to overthrow this government. It does not make sense. Coup are plotted, but there are feelers that are dropped here and there. And it has been said that a wave will begin in the west of Africa, in Africa generally, but particularly in the west of Africa and Central Africa after 2020. And we are beginning to see this wave. Coup The country is taken over by the military. You heard what Femi Falana said. It is not just the military thinking or seeing that majority of the resources are being mishandled. They are being, sold out to the West, and money is being put in the pockets of certain individuals. No, do not forget that somehow they have allowed, the government have allowed, when I say the government, I'm talking of the executive government. They have allowed certain military personnel to steal, like those in the Navy. They allow them to do some criminal activities right at the oil well. They steal, they do. So since they are being fed, at times they will keep quiet. They will do nothing. So when you see stories of the oil well, same stories and all that Asari Dokubo was saying, Asari Dokubo probably understands or does not understand that the government allowed the Navy, the Army, to steal, to do all of these things so that they can keep them in power. So the Army will not wake up one day and say, no, we are going to plan a coup and get rid of you guys. That is why they've allowed them to do what they do. Nigeria is more like a jungle. That's what it is. Now, when you look at the terrorist issue in the north of Nigeria, a lot of people think the government does not know what to do. The executive government. Of course, the president will not go into Sambisa Forest and just lay hold on the terrorists. They're still going to send in security, military, send them in there to do what they need to do. But terrorism also has become a business. The high-ranking officers of the military, army, are making money from it, and the Air Force, they are making money from it. At times, they will muscle on them a little bit, but they are making money off from all of these things that we are seeing. That is why it is so. But now, they do not mind to be on top of it, rather than taking some droppings here and there, food that falls from the master's table. No, now they are ready to take the bite themselves, and they don't care if the crumbs fall or not. Whoever, anybody that wants to, face them, since they are always, in all countries all over the world, security agents, military are the backbone of that country. They can do and undo because they have the weapon, they have the gun, they have all that it takes to pull down anybody. So, now, the military came out on their Twitter page. Are they supposed to come out on Twitter page to write this, to say certain individuals are pressing them, showing evidence of this and that, and why they should take over? No, Nigeria is a military, it's not a military, we are not going to continue a military regime, we are not going to begin any of this, it's a civilian government, it's a democracy, we are going to maintain democracy, all on our watch. That's a lie. That's a lie. They are simply putting out feelers like, well, certain people, who are these people? They are telling us to plan a coup. What does that mean? Do not forget that Obasanjo himself is not interested in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government or president. He is angry that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will become president of Nigeria. There is nothing he cannot do. That is why prior to the announcement of the winner of the election, I don't know who won or who did not win here, he quickly granted an interview. And people brought some, old interview that he granted where he said there is no election that is perfect. Look at the United Kingdom. Didn't they bring dead people's profile and they, used it to vote for election? He said all of these things because it looks good to him. Obasanjo is part of the problem of Nigeria. And many of them, Tinubu, they are all problems. So it's like a jungle. Survival of the fittest. That is what it is. Do not be shocked if you wake up and Bola Ahmed Tinubu is locked in somewhere, house arrest, and the military hijack government. Do not be surprised. Ghana, do not be surprised. Cameroon, do not be surprised. In fact, that of Cameroon is, I think, just look at what happened in Gabon. Family member of the president, he felt that he does not want to have a little bit of this remnant coming here. We are talking of a guy who could go to the United States, go to Maryland, buy a house, cash down, 1 million, 2 million. He bought it cash down. Look at that. He's the one that has been, given the presidential position now. That's it. A family, civilian family, could stay in government for almost 60 years. And now, you think the military will do better? They will not do better. We are in for a worse time. What are your thoughts about this one? Like and share, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next update.